electrical in nature. Now Ben had confirmed that with a scientific experiment. It was an extraordinary accomplishment for any scientist, but Ben knew it was even more amazing for him, since he was not a trained scientist. He had come from a family of soap and candle makers in Boston, and although he had gone to school for only 2 years, he had continued educating himself through reading and experimenting, and had now made an important discovery through one of those experiments. As Ben walked home with William through the muddy streets of Philadelphia, his mind slipped back to his boyhood in Boston, where his love of science and learning had first surfaced. Chapter 2. Soap and Candles. The coins in 7-year-old Ben Franklin's pocket jangled as Ben strode down the cobbled Boston street toward the toy shop. Ben's gray eyes sparkled as he thought how generous his father's friend had been to drop the coins into his pocket, and he could hardly wait to spend them. As Ben made his way along the narrow street, a pig careened past him, nearly knocking him into the open gutter that ran down the middle of the road. As he struggled to regain his balance, Ben heard a distinctive sound. It was the sweet, high-pitched sound of a tin whistle. Then he spotted a boy a few years older than he playing the whistle. Suddenly Ben knew he had to have that whistle. Without thinking, he reached into his pocket, pulled out all the coins, and offered them to the boy in exchange for the whistle. The boy snatched the coins from Ben, handed over the whistle, and ran off down the street. Ben cradled the whistle in his hands as he ran home to show his family the amazing new toy. A minute later, he rounded the corner of Union Street and sprinted down to Hanover Street, where his family's new house was located. He could hardly wait to make his grand entrance. Ben marched from room to room, blowing what he thought was a wonderful tune. But he soon discovered that his playing was having the opposite effect from the one he had anticipated. His brother Thomas and his sisters Sarah and Lydia glared at him and plugged their ears. Even the family dog began to yelp and holler at the noise. Undeterred, Ben kept playing until he heard baby Jane wailing from her crib. His mother turned to him, her hands on her hips. "Ben, you must stop that terrible noise at once," Abia Franklin demanded.
"But it's my new whistle. Don't you like to hear it?"
Ben asked. "Maybe outside," his mother said in a softer voice. "It is an instrument for playing outdoors on the commons, not here in the house." "Let me see this new whistle," Ben's father Josiah said, as he sat by the fire reading a newspaper. Ben proudly passed the instrument to his father. "And how much did you pay for it?" Josiah Franklin asked.
"I saw a boy playing it on the street, and I gave him all the coins I had in my pocket."
"You what?" his father said incredulously. "But you could have bought a brand new one for a quarter of that price. What were you thinking?" Ben heard someone chuckling. He turned around just as his mother and siblings burst out laughing. He felt his face turning red and his stomach heaving. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he thought about all the other things he could have bought with the money he overpaid for the whistle. He ran to his bedroom and threw the tin whistle under his bed, promising himself that he would never again give too much for a whistle. Ben did take his whistle to the commons sometimes, but he could never play it without thinking about how he had made a fool of himself and wasted his money as well. In the Franklins' Puritan New England home, wasting money was a grave sin, and as Ben had learned, it was assumed that he would become the family expert on sin and other religious matters. Ben's father had told him that this was because of his birth. Ben was 14th of 17 children born to Josiah Franklin and his first wife, Anne, and second wife, Abia. And since Ben was the 10th of 10 sons, his father had informed him that he had decided that as a tithe, Ben should become a clergyman. Ben was not excited about this, since church seemed very boring to him, but he was excited about attending Boston Grammar Latin School as the first part of his clergyman training.